Good morning, everyone. I would like to say a big thanks to the Parisian Creative Morning team for giving me this opportunity. The topic is about trust today, and I must say that I do feel trusted by this wonderful team because we briefly met, and here I am today with you live. And so, I really appreciate that. This exercise is a bit out of my comfort zone. I am used to dance and choreograph, and I never did this kind of talk before. So there is a bit of an unknown there for me. But I actually quite like being out of my comfort zone. I have rather a typical artistic trajectory that led me to eventually become one of the pioneer of a new performing art form called contemporary skating. And so I'd like to share a bit of my story with you today so you better understand where I'm from and what I'm doing and how actually trust is playing a crucial role into everything that I've built and everything I'm still doing. So I started figure skating when I was quite young. I was 8 years old. And what got me into figure skating was this. I'm going to play a So this is Philippe Candelero, famous French champion, the '94 Olympics in Lillehammer. I was 8 years old when I watched that, and that was the first time I haven't seen something like this. This guy was like an alien to me, moving like this, doing these crazy jumps, and that really inspired me. That really inspired me to start skating. So I started taking skating lessons, and I was quite good at it, and I was quite fast channeled into a competitive practice. And I actually did competitions for more than 10 years. I won a few medals in France and international competitions as well. But I actually didn't really like the competitive aspect of the discipline. It was very, very strict, and it was actually quite a toxic environment. But this is the subject of another talk. So I decided to stop my competitive career at the age of 20 years old, and I was technically skilled, and I wanted to use my skill to still skate and perform and become a professional figure skater, meaning being paid to skate versus paying a lot of money to skate. And so the only options available were to join a big ice show company. And so I did an audition for one of the major show company, and I got hired and I went on tour. And so just to make sure we're on the same page, if some of you do not really know what traditional figure skating shows are about, I will play a little video. So, I won't pass many time on this topic, but I pretty much did tour the ice show business for 5 years. I did several companies. What these companies and production have in common is that they are commercial products. It's a popular entertainment on ice, lots of costume, lots of glitter, lots of props. And I actually find out that the skating I was doing in this production was really limiting. I was very interested in other art forms, dance, music, theater, painting, and I was marveling at the diversity happening in those disciplines. In dance, just dance. You have contemporary dance, African dance, jazz, modern dance, so many ways to dance. And in skating, I was very astonished to see that there was only a very few ways to skate. It was only doing competitions and, respecting the rules to please the judges, or doing this kind of skating and traditional ice shows. And so I grew up really frustrated with it, and I eventually decided to look for alternatives and see if I could do a skating that was different than this. And I was looking on the internet, and I came across a video of collective of skaters based in Quebec. They were gathered named Le Patin Libre, and they didn't have costumes or sparkles. They were trying some interesting choreographies on ice. They were even using skating to address social issues like prostitution, poverty. And I found that this team were never talked about in the traditional skating shows. That was not the purpose. And so I was intrigued, gave them a call. I went to Montreal to meet them. And it was a revelation, this trip for me. These guys were skating on frozen lakes and they were dancing and improvising for fun, something that I never did with skating before. And so I went there. It was a full winter. I'm just going to play a short video so you get the vibe a little bit. So this is Montreal. And this was me meeting these guys and dancing and having fun with them. So from that moment on, I decided to stop my career as a professional figure skater, and I decided to join the collective. And it was a very modest collective. There was not really shows happening, and together we knew that we wanted to create something different with skating. We didn't know exactly what. We wanted to find something that could legitimate skating as an artistic form and not a popular entertainment. So we didn't know what we wanted to do exactly, but we knew what we didn't want it to do. Wear the costumes and do the same kind of choreographies. And so this was a turning point in my life, and it asked for me a lot of trust, because when I quit my career as a professional figure skater, I went join this collective, and I had to commit. We all had to commit to trying to create something new together, and we had absolutely no idea if we will ever be successful in it. And we knew that this will take time, and we set ourselves a deadline of 3 years within which we will commit to the project. We had no funding whatsoever to do this. We just decided that we will trust that we will maybe find something, and I had to trust my partners that they will commit with me. Because you have to understand that the traditional figure skating ice shows are paying a lot of money to get male figure skater, because we are a rare resource. There are many women skating, but men is really like you get hired very quickly. And so what decided me to trust them was this trip I did to Montreal, the fact that we danced together, the fact that we talked, the fact that we had a common intention, even if it was not clear. And we spent 2 years together, living, skating. We became like a little family, and we've been researching a lot, and we ended up eventually creating a piece that was gathering our findings. The piece was called Skater Anonymous, and it was staged as a kind of therapy for traumatized high-level figure skaters, like this Alcoholic Anonymous, but for skaters. And this is again the subject of another talk, the trauma of competitive skating. So we did this show, but actually nobody wanted to present it. We reached out to the artistic presenters, nobody answered our calls. We reached out to the ice rinks, nobody wanted to present it because I think it was just too weird according to skating standards. And so this is the time that we had to take a huge gamble. We knew that the end of our commitment was approaching. It was about 3 years that we were together and trying to find something new with skating. So we decided to take a big financial risk. We decided to self-present the piece in London. And we knew that this was the last opportunity to make a success out of the show. Otherwise, we would have had to terminate our collaboration. So we invested a lot of money. We actually didn't have enough money to pay for hotels, so we ended up partially living in squats in London. But we rented a beautiful ice rink, and that was a bit of a paradox there. And so the diffusion went quite well, and we got one artistic presenter that came to see the performance and actually liked what she saw. Her name was Emma Gladstone. She very sadly passed away this year. She was working for a major festival in London, and she was the first presenter who ever gave credit to what we were trying to do and ever saw potential in what we were trying to achieve with skating. So she decided to commission a work from us. And that gave us a huge motivational boost, because for the first time, we were supported by somebody that was in a position to help us spread our work. And it also gave a lot of pressure, this trust we had from this new partner. And that was really a challenge also because in Le Patin Libre, we worked as a collaborative system. There is no one choreographer that is ordering anything. We have to work together to create something all together, and that asks for compromise. That's a human adventure that is hard sometimes. But we had gone through so many rough times during these 3 years. We knew that we were all committed to the project, and we knew that we had a common vision. And so what we did during this residency to create the piece commission for the London Festival is we actually ended up finding what was unique to our art form, what could make skating an art and not just a popular entertainment. And it was actually quite simple. It was just glide. So I'm a human on foot. I gotta move my feet to move. On the ice, I don't have to move my feet to move. I just travel through the space like this. And this opens up a huge amount of possibilities choreographically. And so the piece we featured, the piece we premiered, was all about our findings around glide. So I'm gonna put a short excerpt. The piece is called Vertical Influences. So this is what I mean by the glide, the ability to just traverse through space without having to move to do it. So from that point on, all our artistic research and our movement language was built around this phenomena, glide. We're very lucky because the piece got a good review from The Guardian, and then many presenters wanted to include the piece in their programming, and it was the first time actually that skating was presented by so many artistic presenters. So we're very happy that we succeeded to catch the attention. And this was possible only because we committed in time and because we really took a financial risk. And the risk comes with the trust you have in the project or in people. You're willing to take a risk with people if you trust them. So that was a really good indicator for me of the trust in the project and the trust in my partner. After this piece, we decided to create another work because we got the support from other presenters. And for this work, I needed to have a different kind of trust toward my partners. We wanted to explore choreography with speed and play with the notion of speed because dancers on foot do not access the kind of speed we can have on skating. And so ice rink is a big stage. It's a 56-meter long, 26-meter wide. We have blades, so knives under our foot, and we can go up to 40 kilometers. And we wanted to play with this phenomena. And we never did this kind of skating because when I mean speed, I don't mean taking speed to do a jump and a controlled speed that I was used to do in competition or in figure skating show. We were inspired by hockey and speed skate with a state of body that was really grounded. And the idea was not to be beautiful, it was to be very efficient. And to do that, we had to put ourselves at physical risk, really risking our physical integrity. And so this was a very hard process, and I would have never gone through it if I didn't trust in the skills and reflex of my partners. And more than that, the whole piece was based on being on the threshold, on the verge of control. And the challenge was to actually reach that stage, but not pass over it. You understand why? But neither not to be too much under, because the artistic proposition would not have worked. So I'm going to play a short excerpt so you better understand what I mean by taking speed and risk. The audience were on the two sides of the rink, and they were scared because we passed so close, on the verge of losing our edge. So after this creation, I really knew that I could trust my partner on this level, and that was great. That was really great, and that triggered us to do a new work after that. I just wanted to share with you a bit of the creation process, which just to show you that there was some force involved into it, and danger, and that's what makes the work unique as well. This kind of being on the edge and to the maximum of your ability, the full physical commitment. But this is what I mean by trusting the reflex of my partners. So there is another other aspect of trust that I experienced in my practice as well. Is after this creation, we decided to create another work that was involving a bigger group of people because we were fascinated by a phenomenon called murmuration. The murmuration is the birds flying in the sky making these amazing hypnotic shapes. We wanted to transpose that to humans, and we wanted to use the eyes because skating is almost like flying horizontally. So we gathered a big group of skaters, and this is when I realized that I needed to work with a bigger group that I didn't really knew. I was used to work with the 5 founding members of Le Patin Libre. We had a special chemistry together. Involving a bigger group was a different dynamic, and suddenly we also had expectation from this group. What we wanted to achieve together was to create an algorithmical choreography that would allow us to transpose the murmuration phenomena to the ice. And to do that, we needed to create this form together. And they were looking at us, trusting us that the project would work. And we were believing in our idea, but we were not sure 100% how to make it happen and how it will work. So finally, we ended up spending a lot of time together working on this algorithmical choreography, meaning just a choreography based on rules. It changes every time. It's not set. Everybody respect the rules, and everybody had to really get what the rules were. For us, for this murmuration, we had 4 rules. We stayed together close. We like to skate together close with our partners. The second rule was there was no leader. There was nobody leading the group moving. Everybody could become a leader at some point. The third rule was that when we turn, we prefer to turn in a shadow mode. I will make a little example with Catherine here, just to understand shadow mode. So I only learned this today. it's a very basic, but so we all understand. When we skate and I have somebody following me, usually we turn as a train. Catherine is following me. Well, for the murmuration, the shadow is that if, as Catherine, you go, if she goes and she decides to turn, I stay in my position. If I decide to turn, she stays in her position. And so that asks for way more connectivity with other people. And to do it, thank you very much, by the way, you did great. To do it with yeah. To do it with a big group, this took us a lot of time and a lot of trust also to this other interpret. So I'm gonna play a short excerpt. So this is what it looks like when it's transposed on the ice. The divergence were also allowed, but we wanted to mainly stay together. So this was planned, or
is it just developing out of itself?
It's never the same. It's developing, it's emerging. Everybody has the rules, and then something, and so every show is different. And every time you perform, you gotta be 200% connected to see what happens. So that felt great for different reasons to me. First, this scale of work, this idea of algorithmical choreography with other people, and the commitment of the people to the project as well, because we started this project right before the pandemic, and we were supposed to premiere in the pandemic, and it was, everything shut down. And so we stayed 2 years without knowing if we could make it or not, without no concrete horizon. But these really talented skating artists stick with us all the way through the process. And because of their commitment, we succeeded in premiering the work, and now we're touring it. So I'm really grateful to them. And I realized that being out of the comfort zone was really the crucial factor to evolve and to try to create something new out of skating. I am still very interested in exploring new ways to create choreography with this medium. Recently, I co-created a piece with a skating artist based in Paris. Her name is Octavia Stibior. And together, we wanted to push further the idea of glide and dance. And so the piece is using roller skates, and we're actually using crutches to create a kind of hybrid dance, a dialogue between two fluid points and two stable points. And so I'm just going to play a short excerpt. When we started the process, we had no idea where this would lead us. And we were also very worried about using crutches because it's symbolic. The crutches is linked to disability. And we didn't want to make it look like disability at all. We just find that it was super interesting to have these elements to make a new dance emerge. So it's very experimental, and again, very out of the comfort zone. But I do believe in that glide is a great way to create new form of artistic expression and new images and new symbols. So everything I did was because of trust in partners, trust that I had from partners, trust in myself, in the ability to face the unknown and try something new, and also trust that the audience would like it. Thank you very much.